we have now reached the near end of the show. We are at the point where we do the picks. Now, before we actually do the picks for the postseason, obviously the picks for the postseason are going to be much shorter little clip here. But for the entire regular season, I counted it all up to determine who was the ultimate winner of the Pick'em League. And Mr. Seth, who has not been on the show for like 3 months at this point, despite him sending in those picks. Shout out to Seth. He's still here. He just Home Depot is just a terrible occupation. I would not recommend it. I wouldn't. And this is an ad against Home Depot. Anyways, he finished the season with a record of 171 to 101, 629 total success rate. I, on the other hand, finished with a 165 and 107, 607 win percentage rate. So it was rough because I thought I was doing all right. And then I started counting. I was like, oh, I'm just losing. So that's unfortunate. But we do, of course, still have playoffs. So we're going to go ahead and rock and roll. So let's get the Muzak. Let's see. We were on this one, I believe. Ooh. Great. Oh, let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, that should be good. All right, so Wildcard weekend. This is the most amount of games you'll have on a weekend until the next year, basically. Actually, that's kind of weird to imagine. But Saturday night football. You got Browns, Texans. Seth is taking the Browns to win this game. And look, as much as I love the Browns defense and as much as I find them to be fun, I'm taking the home dogs. I'm going to do it. I know Texans don't have the playoff experience, and playoff Joe Flacco is a bad man. He's a scary, scary man, as in he kills you, in ways you didn't think were possible. He'll kill you. I love the underdog story of the Texans. Do I think it's going to necessarily work out? I don't know, but I'll take the Texans just to switch it up and make things interesting so that we're not just picking the same teams here. Up next, Dolphins facing the Chiefs on the road in Arrowhead. Seth is taking the Fins, and I guess I will also disagree here. I'm going to take the Chiefs. As much as the Chiefs are not good, the Dolphins have just sort of hit a bit of a a wall in terms of their, success rate on week-to-week basis. They've gotten some injuries, and the Chiefs, on the flip side, have a really good defense. And I don't think they're going to just get the top taken off of them with, Hill, and I don't know if Waddle will be available. But it's tough to bet against the Chiefs in the playoffs in Arrowhead. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs to take the win here. Up next, the Steelers facing the Bills. Seth taking the Bills. Yeah, no, you got to take the Bills. Mason Rudolph is a fun story, but I don't think it's going to end well here because it's going to be in Buffalo. It's going to be freezing cold. We're talking early to mid-January in Buffalo. I don't think it's legal to live there and go outside at this time of year. So, yeah, give me the Bills. Joshy Allen, he's starting to turn it on. That Bills team's getting hot at the right moment. And the Steelers, they managed to get in the playoffs, but they have to have their early playoff exit, as is tradition. So, give me the Bills. Up next, the Packers taking on the Cowboys on the road. Seth is taking dem boys, and I'm going to agree. I think Jordan Love certainly played above what people were expecting, certainly what I was expecting of him, but he doesn't have the playoff experience yet, and this is a good Cowboys team. It's going to be a Mike McCarthy revenge game against his old team. It's going to be weird having a Cowboys and Packers game without Aaron Rodgers involved. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, I think that the Cowboys are going to come away with the win here. They score far too many points, and despite the fact that Jordan Love has had a really good statistical year, the offense in the last couple of weeks has really not scored a lot of points. And so I think if it's a shootout, I just trust CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and the Cowboys offense a lot more than I do the Packers, even though, Packers are certainly a decent team and they have a good future. But give me them boys. Up next, the Rams. Matthew Stafford coming home. Take on the Lions. Seth is taking the Lions. And, of course, I will agree. I'm taking the Lions here. Lions are 3.5-point favorites in this game. It's at home. Ford Field is going to be rocking. First ever playoff game in Ford Field. Prime time. NBC. Mike Tirico. It's going to be a hell of a time. I think the Lions are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a lot closer for comfort than I would want it to be. I think I may actually die live on stream when we broadcast that game together. But yeah, I'm going to take the Lions here. I think that defense for the Rams is going to be the end all. It's going to be their Achilles. And the Lions defense is getting better at the right time. Obviously, CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be back. Fortunately, the loss of Sam Laporta is going to stifle our offense probably a little bit, but we just have so many weapons on offense that it's going to be a lot harder, I think, for the Rams defensively to stop us. And I think our defense has been playing well the last few weeks, so give me the Lions. And finally, the Eagles, the Birds, taking on the Buccaneers. Seth taking the Birds, and I talked about it earlier in the show. I'm taking the Buccaneers. I'm taking them. I know it's absurd. The Buccaneers, who won that division that was so awful. But look, the Eagles are playing the worst football I've ever seen the Eagles play in the past couple of years. They're just terrible. And they're going to go on the road, take on a Bucs team that's red hot right now, that wants to, make a splash in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Eagles just look done. I mean, look, Aperture's calling your defense. Enough said. Enough said. Give me the Buccaneers. Just end it. No more. All right, so to wrap it up, here we go. Browns, Texans. Seth is taking the Browns. I am taking the Texans. Dolphins, Chiefs. Seth is taking the Dolphins. I am taking the Chiefs. Steelers, Bills. We are both taking the Bills. Packers, Cowboys. We are both taking the Cowboys. Rams, Lions. We are both taking the Lions. And Eagles, Buccaneers. Seth is taking the Eagles. I am taking the Buccaneers. And those are your wild card playoff picks. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.